Welcome to the Red Cup once again. We got a special guest tonight. You know what I'm saying? We on a weekday tonight. We had to get this show on. You know what I'm saying? Introduction. We got my main man Grant Hill, one of my favorites. James Bryson, Charlie Moore as usual.
Yes, indeed.
You know we gonna start it off right now, man. Grant being highly recruited, coming out the area, man. Like I know every school in the country probably was like, you know what I'm saying? We wanted Grant Hill. What made you choose Duke, and how was it to play with Coach K, man?
Yeah, no, back in the day, for me growing up, I was a Georgetown fan and a Carolina fan. The first college game that I saw was the '82 Final Four when Jordan hit that shot.
Right.
Instantly, I became a fan of both schools, and so kind of fast forward as I'm going through the whole process, it was those two schools, Virginia, Michigan, and then Duke. And
Michigan with Webb in them?
nah, Webb and them were behind me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That shit was
crazy.
We 90.
Yeah, I would have been
90.
Okay,
They 91.
Damn.
They
Yeah.
91.
But Webb and I, we were, we kind of met in the whole AAU circuit, and we were pretty close. And but yeah, dude, it was just Coach K, man. Like Coach K, I think what makes him great and what connected with me and connected with a lot of people, he's not a great, he's a great X and O guy, but he's great at creating relationships and motivating and getting people to buy into each other. Like that's his genius. Mm-hmm. And so, after a visit and really getting to know him up until then, it was a no-brainer. And so had a good one.
You signed in November?
I signed early. I signed
in November.
So I went to Duke on a visit, came back, I had Dean come to the house, Dean Smith.
Oh yeah.
And that was that was the barometer. Like if Dean, if I still wanted to go to Duke after that home visit, then it was on. And so Dean came and nothing changed. The next day I committed to Duke. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a lot of respect, man.
I appreciate it.
Dean coming to you and just talking to you and realizing where you at. So he let it go. He knew where you were going.
Yeah, they had the inside scoop. Everybody knew.
Yeah.
I used to wear the Carolina stuff and all that, but just Duke felt right, and it wasn't like I had a great. It wasn't like what was the movie with Ray Allen?
He got
Shuttleworth. It wasn't like I had Shuttleworth. It wasn't like I had a great visit like that. But it just felt right.
Everything felt right.
And I believed in K. I believed in what he was doing.
And you know what's rare, man? You did 4 years.
Right.
And you could have left after your freshman year. You could have left.
Man, motherfucker went out of high school.
It wasn't involved.
It wasn't like that. But when y'all beat UNLV that year, then beat Kansas in that championship, I was like, man, this man is the goods, man. This man's the goods. And they told me I'm transferring to ACC.
But even with your decision, I was just thinking, like when you said you made your decision, right? Like even if you look at your bio, as far as your parents were concerned, they were kind of split. You had a Georgetown parent, you had a Carolina parent in terms of what they thought or what they felt. Right. You go to Duke, so I guess
go somewhere else. Just go somewhere else.
I'm just saying that was clearly it was your decision.
It was they respected me enough to let me make my own decision. But I think my mom wanted me. So we had season tickets. So
and she loved Georgetown.
So you gotta understand. My first basketball hero was Michael Jackson. Played at Georgetown.
Oh,
bad,
South Lake.
South Lake. And so as a kid,
right.
I watched him in South Lake. I'm talking about when I'm like 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
And so it just so happened that's when Georgetown played Carolina at *82. He went to Georgetown the next year.
Right. Yeah.
So my mom was like, she had tickets. We would die hard. Like we went from '83 to '89. We went to every home game.
Center.
Drive on the highway, get that to Landover. And matter of fact, I was at the Final Four in '84 when they won. Like that's how much I was.
But did the coaches know that?
Yeah, they knew. I don't think they knew. I was 10, 11, 12, and then as I started getting there was a guy in my high school, Jerome Scott. I don't know if you remember.
Man, oh, Jerome. Shout out to Mr. Kitchens.
Mr. Kitchens.
Shout out to Mr. Kitchens, man.
So
Mr. Kitchens brought Jerome to practice one day. And Jerome was in that boogie. I'm like, who is this dude?
That's before Miami was in
So
the Big East.
Kitchens put him aside. He was like, sure, he can do everything y'all can do. And Jerome was in that joint, man, scoring the basketball against anybody that was in it.
And Joe Wild.
Joe Wild.
Yeah, you're right.
Jacob Morton, too.
Yeah,
he went to Miami.
Independent back then.
But Jerome, let me get back to Georgetown. So we were fans back then, but then Jerome, he was 2 years older than me, but he had this crossover, and like the crossover was like it was like crossover. He did a little in and out, and he bring it back this way.
Yes,
So
he did. Yes, indeed.
That's all I would do. I practiced and trying to get that closer. But then I saw this guy right here. He changed my life right here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, first time I saw Kurt was up at AU, American University, and I think you were playing on a team with Kitch.
Mr. Kitchens.
Mr. Kitchens.
Yeah, that's my man right there.
Yeah.
That's my man right there.
And then we played together later on in Boston a couple years.
Yeah.
And man, after that Boston shootout, man, I remember, man, I'm at home practicing. Now I'm learning how to dance with the ball a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I learned that from watching him. You know what I'm saying? He was like ahead, because back then people were just basic with it. They weren't, and so
they were checking the basketball back then. They wasn't herky jerky.
Exactly. So. That was those were good times.
I was like, when I came back, we had the 14 and under with the Myers and the Jamie Warrens, the Warren family. Me, Randolph, yourself, and I told my father, I was like, man, we about to win all this.
Yeah.
I said, it's easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't a close game.
No, for real. I still got tape from that. I got the games on tape.
For real?
Yeah, I got the games on tape. We got
It wasn't a close game, man. First game, they brought me off the bench like, we picked you up. So after that, it was like, oh, no, you start now. You got...
For those who don't know, Charlie Moore is stamped, man. Charlie Moore was a bad motherfucker.
So we talked about Kenny Blakeney and all his names.
Yeah.
You Tommy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, I'm trying to. Was it Tommy or
Tommy? No, it is Tommy.
Okay, all right, man. He got so many nicknames.
It's definitely Tommy.
All right.
He was texting me in the morning like, "Wake up, Tommy."
It's definitely Tommy.
Definitely, man. That was a great
I got a question
experience,
for you,
though,
man.
because your mom was down there with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? So this is a true story. So
Arkansas. We was in Arkansas.
We were at Jonesboro at Arkansas State.
Shout out to Wellesley College.
That's right. You know about
Boston.
Boston.
Right across from BC.
And we played Municipal Gardens, Indiana.
Yeah.
Allen Henderson and the
Yeah,
Fox.
Allen Henderson.
And Governor Clinton and his wife Hillary Clinton, and Chelsea was a little girl.
Yeah.
They come to the game. And so after the game, we all go. Remember we went to a water park?
Yeah.
The whole team goes to a water park, and they come. And so we're all there hanging out. So I think we went to Wendy's.
Governor, man.
With the governor. And then literally the next day, my mom takes me and Weber to Princeton for Nike camp. We all were there.
Right.
So we go there. We show up late, and she's on the plane. She's like, he's gonna be president one day. And I'm thinking like, man, what's he talking about?
Right.
But
And that shit happened.
sure enough,
Yeah.
And he remember. When I see him now, he always talks about seeing us play in Jonesboro.
Yeah,
So,
man, Ryan was like, he going to Nike, man. We need to go up Nike, man. Right. Yeah, but we won the national championship. It was big, man. I'm telling you, man. It was so much love down there.
we beat everybody. We
beat
beat Gauchos,
everybody.
beat South Carolina,
Mashburn,
and blew them out.
Blew them out, man.
Like, we had a coach, Warren.
Mr. Warren.
Man, we were so well coached.
No
man.
nonsense coach,
Yeah,
man. But he let us go on offense.
It was a lot different back then.
We learned a lot.
Y'all choosing Randolph.
Yes.
Who was passing that motherfucking ball?
Everybody.
Man, look, I got the MVP. Randolph could have got it. Hey, real talk. Like, literally, Randolph could have got the MVP.
Who was passing
man.
the ball?
Everybody was.
Hey, man, it was.
Hey, Mom, we starting off like, let's go.
And what we play? Boston Shootout?
No, I didn't go with y'all that year.
Nah, that
was never-
motherfucker.
Nah, you went with him.
Did y'all play
No, we never played there.
You went with
Yeah,
him,
man,
and the next year you
never
went with
played
me.
Duke. Never
That's when
played
your
Duke.
nose got
Throughout them years?
Never.
I thought y'all actually with the guys.
Aaron Long. Shout out to Aaron Long.
They ain't want to see it.
No. Hey, look.
That's what they want to see.
I got a question for you, man. Like it's kind of a, you have a lot of stuff in you have a compelling story, right? But a fun fact. Now, obviously, if some people don't know that your dad played professional football,
right.
running back for Cowboys and everything, right? So your dad plays football.
Right.
You end up playing basketball. That's obviously different.
Right.
Was football ever consideration? Number one, did you play, or just because you grew tall, you did the basketball thing?
Right.
I think that you played football before.
No, I never played.
Never.
So how did that?
So
that's number one. But then the factoid that's so fun is that your dad was rookie of the year, '69 football, and you were rookie of the year basketball. That's kind of a crazy.
It is. No, it
but
is crazy.
Back to the football thing. Was that ever even in your wheelhouse?
Yeah. I mean, for me growing up, that was what I wanted to play as a kid, and then as we moved, he started in Dallas and ended up here in DC with the Redskins, and so late '70s, early '80s, like the Redskins were on fire. Yeah, this was like, what I'm saying? I mean, as much as Georgetown became, the Bullets weren't kind of in the '80s, they weren't as relevant, but it was like Georgetown basketball and then Washington Redskins football. But he didn't want me to play until I got to high school. He didn't play till he got to high school.
Oh,
And so after being so close to it and not being allowed to play, like I kind of, I'm tall and all that, I started kind of moving towards basketball.
I got it.
And so when I was allowed to play, I didn't want to play. And so even to this day now, I'm not a football fan. I think part of it because I wasn't allowed to play as a kid.
That is so amazing, yo.
And look, as much as I got hurt, I probably
made a good decision.
No, it was all good.
You made a good decision.
But the B16,
great guy.
Great decision, man. Like,
a good decision, a great goddamn decision.
I always talk to the kids that I coach, like, Tim Duncan did 4 years. You did 4 years. And you could have left when you wanted to.
Right.
But that education part of it has really helped you out a lot.
Right.
What would you say to kids right now about just rolling out? It's totally different right now.
It is different.
it's about the bag.
It's totally different right now.
See, I feel like we all kind of came up at the same time, and I don't think the league was on the radar like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I'm going to try to get to college and play.
Nah, it wasn't.
And
You're absolutely right about that.
It wasn't on the radar.
Yeah.
So people, you didn't know what guys made.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Magic signed that big deal.
20 years,
20 years, 20 million. I was like,
$1 million.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that seemed like the most out of this
world shit.
Yeah, no crazy. And so
No bull.
And so the pressure wasn't there. I mean, it started like after I left. That's when you saw the mad exodus, like everybody leaving. I'll tell you this, man. I feel people they do documentaries on that era of basketball. People still remember, the teams that I was on and what we were fortunate to do. And because we were there long enough, whether you liked Duke or you hated Duke, you knew Duke.
Right.
And
Let me tell you why you knew Duke. Let me just tell you
Shout
why
out to
you-
Wimbush.
Hey, look, let me tell you why you knew Duke, dog.
Knew all y'all Duke haters.
This is the depressing part. Now,
Time.
we never played y'all, right? Villanova never played Duke during that time. But let me just tell you something. Like, so you were in the Final Four all 4 years?
Nah, 3 years.
3 years.
So I broke my foot against them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
So
remember
your
that
senior
game.
year,
My
you-
junior year, I broke my foot.
Yeah.
And
So your junior year was the year you did not go.
Yeah, wait.
my junior, so we played Wake. I was guarding Rodney Rogers.
Bad
And,
boy.
and,
Yes,
oh man,
Yes,
he was
sir.
killing us that game. I
Yes,
broke my
sir.
toe,
Yeah.
and I had to have surgery after the season. Not saying we would have got there, but we didn't have a good year that year. But I got there my senior year, and we played Arkansas and
We
lost.
swept y'all senior year.
Man,
too.
they had our number, man. Hey, so the last 3 times I played, 3 out of 4. Let me tell you something.
We had a tape right when Grant make this little spin move. I was like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker. That nigga swatted my shit. They called foul though. I was happy as shit.
Man, look, so we
King was gone. Or was
When
he
I'm
still
They had Grant. They had some young
Cherokee.
guards, man. They had Cherokee.
there? Oh yeah, okay. Cherokee
Cherokee
Fox.
Fox.
Let me tell you, we played y'all. So my 4 years, every other team, we swept. Never lost to Maryland. Never lost to Tech. We split with North Carolina, but I had a losing record against Wake.
Yeah,
Damn.
I know you
That's
did.
the only team we had a
He said, I knew you
Hey, look, you always remember that though, right?
I got
Like,
you.
look,
I got you in Georgetown too.
and they
We got him in the Cap Center, man.
the last, we got me there too, yeah.
Yeah.
But I got him at AAU back in the day, like 14 and under. I got him once or twice.
Shit out of us. Then they picked me up, me and Randolph up, like y'all going with us out of town. You don't need nothing. They had us in training camp for a week, man. Down in Virginia, man. Yeah. West Springfield.
So look,
Had 2 of these.
how about Randolph?
Oh, man.
He hit a game winner on me, man. In Cameron.
No, I was,
Senior,
yeah, I was right
there.
there.
Man, I'm gone. He hit a step back three.
That was right.
He hit a
Man,
step
he
back
threw
three.
his
on-
jersey to the stand.
He did a step back three on me, man. I was so pissed, man. Because, especially because we all played together,
Yeah,
and so
He's
I remember I
We
played
trying
y'all.
to find Grant after the game. He was like, man, I ain't, man, tell him to get out the way, man.
As matter of fact, we were up on y'all at Wake too that year. I remember
nah.
I had a
I'ma
wicked
tell you
dunk.
the
I had a dunk
funniest-
on Duncan.
Nah, that was
I had
my fault.
I had
That
a
was
two
my
hand.
fault.
I came down the lane.
No, that
And
was
I
my
kinda-
fault. We
I don't-
scouted that shit all week, man. It's a handoff,
Right.
right?
Hand on. You supposed to switch.
I'm supposed to check this motherfucker.
They both know the scout report.
So I'm like, no, you gotta step
Charlie
in.
Moore ducked that red.
No, I did what I had to do. Man, he took off from the free throw line. Boom. So we called timeout, man. Dave Odom cussed my ass out, man. Coach cussed me out, man.
I used to call it Lil Lonzo. You on there?
Dave Odom cussed me out.
He look like Lonzo Mourning. He look like a
Randolph
Lonzo.
said, man, you did what you had to do, man.
Charlie Moore ducked that red. You
No,
want
I
to switch off?
didn't. No, I didn't. He took off from the free throw line on the handoff, Joe.
No, I remember that. That
That's
was
when they had Chris Collins, Capel.
T-Line.
That's it, man. Hey, Randolph, yeah. Charlie Moore got out the way, didn't he?
Man, I got the fuck out the way. And that's when they went to the Final Four that year, man.
We lost to Arkansas.
Arkansas.
So you went to Final Four 3
took
years
that
after
team.
4
3 out of your 4 years.
That was
Man.
the coolest win for Arkansas.
Nah, he carried that team
That's
to the
crazy,
Final Four.
man. I think you made the right decision.
Nah, Grant, you carried that team to the Final Four, man.
Great decision.
You carried that team.
Right?
Layton was gone. He left in 92.
Okay.
That was 94, yeah.
And what was you drafted? 2 or 3?
3.
You should have been 1.
That was Jason Kidd draft, right?
Y'all
J
co-MVP,
Kid, Big Dog,
Rookie of the Year.
number
Yeah.
1. J Kid, number 2.
Now, it's funny you said Big Dog. How was that matchup
Yeah.
when y'all played them?
Let me tell you, man. In college, man, look. So we played. I'm gonna tell you, we played.
Purdue.
We played. He was at Purdue. We played Marquette in the Sweet 16, and so I kind of got loose a little bit. The second half, I had a good. I wasn't really a scorer. I kind of. I played. I was trying to be like Kurt. Kurt was a scorer. I was trying to be a point guard. Set everybody up. So I have a good game. I get loose a little bit. I dunked on McIlvain. Had a nice dunk on McIlvain. So we sit and watch the first half of the next game.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play the winner, and it's Purdue versus Kansas. And Big Dog had 30 at halftime.
Damn.
Big Dog 30 at halftime.
Dog was bad,
And so
motherfucker.
so I had to guard. I knew I had to guard him. And man, I remember the night before, man. And, we used to switch up roommates on the road. So Cherokee Parks was my roommate.
Yeah.
Man, I'm in the hallway. I'm doing defensive slides. Like I'm getting hyped. And so, but what we did was we funneled him. We figured he wasn't used to having length guard him.
Right.
So me and T Lane was 6'8".
Antonio,
And so I think it was we're gonna get in his space
Yeah.
and funnel him to Cherokee.
Yeah.
And so I got foul. Actually, I didn't play that well. I got in foul trouble, but we won that game. But he was, man. That was the one. Like that was the one time where I was like, yo, if I don't pray, like if I don't play, I can get embarrassed. No disrespect. I got embarrassed by Randolph.
Big Dog, bad boy.
But Big Dog, man.
Yeah,
Hey.
Big Dog. He was fucking niggas
Yeah,
up.
he was.
We had battles in the league. When he was in
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
He was cooking them in Milwaukee. Him and Sherman.
Yeah.
Sherman, yeah.
Was Vin Baker with them?
Vin Baker was that's first
Yeah.
NBA game I ever went to.
Yeah,
Brothers
Vin
versus the
Baker-
Bucks.
Vin Baker
Big
was
Dog
with
and
them.
Sherman Douglas at the point.
So
Rod
you
Strickland
at
fried
Duke,
him,
man. You established a lot at Duke.
Right.
Graduated. Everything in the rafters.
Yep.
When you go on to that NBA stage as a young man,
Right.
how was that?
It was a little bit crazy, man, because I think, as you said, the 4 years at Duke, it helped me come in just from a popularity standpoint. People knew who I was.
Yeah.
I remember Coach K's wife said that of the 120 games I played at Duke, 115 were on national television.
Yeah.
So that kind of platform, people know who you are. So I came in. So it was funny. We talking about handling the ball and all that. So my senior year, I played point.
I know.
You remember?
Yeah, I know.
And I didn't really dance with it because back then big guys like Magic, Steve Smith that played at Michigan State.
Oh man, Steve. Happy Smith. Shout out to Steve Smith.
Yeah, no doubt. They kind of backed you down, man. Like Walt used to play with it a little bit. Walt would play with it.
Yeah.
And so that summer, man, we were playing pickup ball, and Quinn Snyder, who's now the head coach of Utah, he had coached in the league with Larry Brown the year before. And he was like, yo, you don't have to back down. You can handle the rock. Like, play people
Face up.
and come downhill. So when I got to the league, like my first
Man, you was
10,
downhill,
15
bro.
games.
Hey, Slim, you was downhill,
No, my
bro.
first 15 games, like I'm telling folk, like all my boys, I'm like, man, this is easy. Like I'm literally,
The space, what was it? Space? What was it? It was the space?
It was like you on an island, so it's 1-on-1.
It was better for you.
And like you had small forwards who weren't used to guarding somebody who could handle the ball.
Right.
And so it take you a minute, and then after a while, people figure out your games. You have I always say you have a grace period of like 20 games, and then you got to figure, But the league, I was surprised on the basketball side how easier it was initially. And then, all the fanfare and the endorsements and all that stuff was crazy. So it was,
That shit been
I
easy.
mean, think about it, man. You outvoted Michael Jordan for the MVP, for the All-Star voting.
Yeah.
I mean, twice you were number one.
Yeah.
That's popularity, bro.
Yeah, and that comes from just more basketball, but just being a good person that you are. You do a lot, man. People don't know about. Always been a stand-up guy, man, since I met you at 13, 14 years old, man.
Genuine guy.
Great family, man.
Genuine guy.
And we just glad to have you on this show, man.
No, I'm official now, man. I saw my nemesis back in Donald Ford on here. I know Donald was on here. I got no more respect for Donald. But let me tell you, I'm still mad. So we played him twice. You gotta understand, when I was coming up, he was like, he was that name.
He was the man.
He was freshman at Jump Ball. And so I used to feel like we don't get the love out of South Lakes. And so they came out for a jamboree sophomore year, 87, 88. I feel like we got the best of them. I think we beat him. I think I kind of got his number. But then we played after our senior year.
We played
him up in Largo.
And
so we were on executive 3.
And I said, let's go, Joe.
And
My school.
you,
Dickie Simpkins,
Kenny Blakeney,
Bill
Burnett.
Did Mike Smith play?
Nah, he was on the other team.
Oh, he was on the other team.
They had Don Reed, Mike Smith, Donald Ford.
I think Donald got the best of me that
No, he didn't.
I see. He said he do, man.
No, he
I saw him
didn't.
on Facebook. So you there? All right, Donald. No. Charlie Moe Tommy.
Hey, Big Six.
No, I got
Hey, Big
Six.
Six.
All right, so hey,
Big
Six.
all right. So he went.
No!
We played him at Largo. I think he got.
And Largo,
I
but then
remember.
you got him down Central, too.
I can't remember, man. There's so many
Remember,
games,
you
man.
and Dad
But-
flew in late.
Shout out to
But-
Big Six.
But that was it. That was
Big
the
Six
guy,
can play,
man.
man.
He could play.
I got a question for you, dog.
Bad motherfucker.
On a pro tip. So,
I'm sorry.
take us back to the year when you hurt your ankle, right?
Right.
And you and Allen Houston were absolutely 100% cooking.
Detroit.
No. That was when I hurt my ankle.
After
Allen had been left. Yeah, Allen left in
Yeah.
'96. I got hurt in 2000.
Allen went to the Knicks.
So,
too,
okay,
right?
got you.
Yeah.
But you cooking.
Yeah. I was.
And so what was it? Is it a basic sprained ankle? What? Because I know you played in the series.
But he was
and you
cooking with the fucked up ankles.
No,
Yeah,
it was
that-
crazy,
I'm-
man.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
well,
So
You been a team player. You just played through the injury.
I
Like
don't
what?
have enough time. But so the thing that was messed up was that I was at a point where I felt like my game was that you 6 years in, you have the experience, you're still young enough, you're 27, 28, and the game was easy. I got comfortable with my mid range.
Yeah.
I could get off the dribble, and then my ankle started to get bad, and it was mismanaged up in Detroit. So you know, long story short, I shouldn't have been playing.
You shouldn't have.
I got hurt. I had surgery. I left and went to Orlando. And then I was supposed to be out for 8 months, but I came back in like 3 or 4 months.
Wow. Yeah.
And so that's what. So it was a little bit of a mishap and dropping the ball. So
Was it medical, or did you feel like it was? You felt the pressure because of the contract?
No, I mean,
well, what? I mean,
probably all of the above. I mean, I you know, nowadays you see Isaiah Thomas. He goes from Boston to Cleveland. He's not playing.
He's waiting this time.
Yeah, and so I think people now are more cautious and careful because they got a lot of money for it. And you know what? We got a lot of money invested in players. I think players are more in tune and more aware. And so I followed doctors' orders. They were just bad orders. And so what ended up happening, I'm going to explain this real quick. It's hard to explain, but imagine if this is your bone. These 2 fingers are put together and they break. And what doctors do is they'll put them back. They'll put pins and screws in there and let it heal itself. So when I came back too soon, it didn't heal. It ended up being called a non-union. So what happens is it heals, but it heals as 2 separate bones. Wow. So that took 3 more surgeries and 3 more years to get it right. And I tried to come back, and you know, and that was right in my prime. Like that was right when it was like all of a sudden, like the game was easy. Like I could go out and get 30, get 12 rebounds, 7 assists,
easy
and efficiently, you know, and so that's what. It's kind of weird because I had my Detroit years, which were really good, and then I had my Orlando years, which was just hard, you know, the injuries and all that. And then
with McGrady,
but I didn't play with. I mean, I was hurt all the time, so I didn't get a chance to play. So that was a dark time because. You know, we ball players. You want to play.
And the fans wanted you so bad. The fans wanted it.
They was like,
Tim Duncan almost came.
Tim Duncan almost joined y'all, right?
Man, Tim and I.
That would have been crazy.
Doc Rivers.
Tim and I, we made our visit together.
How did y'all? How did you take that mentally, though, man?
That was hard. So here's the thing. So it took me 4 years to come back, and it was hard. You know who was actually good for me then? A guy from around the way. We were teammates for 2 of those years with Monty Williams. Monty, his late wife, who unfortunately was killed. We were like 2 doors away from each other, and so he was there. Like he was really big, and his wife was big. We were newlyweds. My wife and I just got married. But once I got back, instead of having, and you know, all y'all will understand this because all y'all were great players. But instead of having that mentality where, like, I'm the best player on the court. Yeah. Like, when I went against Mike, whether Mike was better, like, I felt like, man, I'm going to bust Mike's ass. Like, that was the mentality. You know what I'm saying? When Kurt went against Kenny, he was like, I'm going to go at him. Like, he can't. And so that mentality, instead of having that mentality, I was just happy to be back. Yeah. And so, think of Derrick Rose, and he missed 2 years. Yeah. I missed 4.
After MVP.
I missed 4. And so you lose that, like, that athletic arrogance that...
But they knew about you, though.
No, I'm saying, but I didn't feel that way. I remember one time, I'm going to tell you. So I went down, after my surgery, my last surgery, I had complications. I had staph infection. I got my scar. I had to get a skin graft for my arm. It was a big mess. So I'm down there with, you know, going back to Duke to see doctors. And I remember I met with Coach K. And we went to dinner one night. And he said, who are the top 5 players in the league? So I'm like AI, Kobe, Shaq. I'm just going down the list. He's like, who's top 10? And so I'm adding 5 more. And he's like, who's top 20? And so I name all these guys. I'm really trying to think about like who the top. And he was like, you haven't mentioned yourself.
You didn't say your name.
Right. So
love you, Coach K.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you forget. Like,
Stop the bullshit.
So I never got that mentality back. Now I played, and I was a good player. I came back as an all-star, but a role player and all that. I played till I was 40, but I never got that. I think that 4 years just took it out of me. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I mean to get y'all that long story.
That's cool. So where you got your LeBrons, your Kobe's, your Mikes, your Penny Hardaways, and in my book, you know what I'm saying, I always had Grant Hill with them guys. You know what I'm saying? just saying because you like Duke. I'm like, nah, y'all motherfuckers better see this motherfucker body at work. This motherfucker can play. Yeah. And, you know, you watch film and all that. You know what I'm saying? What do you rate yourself with them guys as far as, like, just being compared, like, not compared to Mike, but when you first came in the league, you was going at Mike and Scotty and them. Right. Highlight film, crossover, boom, all that. And you and Penny was the next fucking Mike and Magic or whoever. Like, how did you feel at that point in time in your career, being a young guy, just coming to college and being compared to them guys, and what was it like playing against them guys?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this funny story. And I'm gonna answer your question. So, 95, you know, Mike came back at the end of 95, played against him once. You know, I gave him a little crossover in that game. I can't remember if we won or lost, but he wasn't right. And that summer, he filmed Space Jam out in L.A. Mm-hmm. So the Warner studio built this bubble on the parking lot for Michael to train while he was filming. Oh, so the runs up in L.A. were great. Now, I'm in L.A. that summer who do Living Single.
Right.
So I'm out there doing Living Single with Queen Latifah
for them, right? Yeah.
So I find out that they're hooping, so I go up there, and the first day I'm going against Mike. You know, Mike wants to. I'm fresh meat. I'm new. Right. I'm a new guy. All that. And so when I tell you, I gave him the business. Like I just like I tell you, it's Reggie Miller, Juwan Howard, all those guys. I was killing Mike. Like to the point where I'm calling my boys that night. Like, man, I got Mike. Like I'm like, so I come back the next day. Man, he gave it to me. Like he gave it to me, man. And so
this is a no blue show.
No. So, but no, I mean, you know, it was cool. I mean, it was, you know, obviously they were the gold standard. We all loved Mike. We all grew up fans of him. Right. I didn't guard him a whole lot. It was me and Scotty.
Okay. That was your matchup in the league?
That was my matchup. Yeah, Joe Dumars, he guarded Mike a lot. I mean, a couple times I was switched up on him and vice versa. But,
right.
But,
man, it was cool. With Joe Dumars when you coming in the league, man, how good a mentor was he?
Yeah, now Joe was quiet.
Yeah.
But when he spoke, he had a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you had me, you had Allen Houston, as you mentioned.
Yeah, bad boy.
Theo Ratliff.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Don Reed.
Lindsey Hunter.
Don Reed.
Largo, shout out to Largo.
Yeah, Lindsey Hunter. So all of us, we all
game
benefited having an older guy like Joe who just had been through the wars and the battles, real smart. He might have been the smartest teammate that I played with. Like just understanding the game. Yeah. But he didn't say a whole lot, but he just kind of led by example.
Yeah.
So those were.
I got to ask you this question, man. From 85 on up. Nah, I'm 80 on up. Give me your Duke top 5.
Duke top 5. I gotta go with Johnny Dawkins.
Yeah, no bullshit.
Johnny Dawkins,
my man. Shout out to JD.
Coaching at UCF.
Remember your dinner though.
What's that?
Remember your dinner.
Yeah.
With Coach K.
Yeah. Johnny Dawkins.
JD.
You know, look, people. You know, he didn't have a great pro career.
Well, Johnny's a bad motherfucker.
But no, I'm talking about Leighton.
Oh, man, you got
Leighton. Let me tell you something.
Let
me tell you something. Leighton.
We got Christian Leighton as probably one of the best, if not the top.
No question. No
ever. Question. He in the question of the top 3.
Shout out to the Duke.
Let me tell you something. Say what you want about Leighton, but Shaq has said it like public, like he gave Shaq the business twice.
That boy bad. And
Zoe
got him back.
So you got Johnny Dawkins, you got Chris and Leighton.
Chris and Leighton for sure. Hands down.
Grant Hill. We ain't gonna go this bullshit. The next two could be. That's tough.
I got one of your favorites that only played 3 years or 2 years.
Man.
Your favorite? Look, I'm gonna tell you his favorite.
Who's my favorite?
Jay Williams.
Oh, Jay Williams.
He loves Jay
Man,
Williams.
yes, indeed.
I take Hurley.
I love Jay Williams.
That's his favorite, though.
Who would you take?
No, you won't.
No, you won't.
Hurley was a beast.
Hurley over Jay Williams?
He wasn't no Jay Will.
Jay Will was crazy, though.
I love Hurley.
Jay Will was crazy.
No, see, Hurley was great.
So here's the thing.
No, Hurley was great.
Jay Will was crazy.
He was great for what he had Grant, Leighton, and dudes.
You said the best player.
Well, Jay
He was
Will.
in a good situation.
Can we put Kyrie in this conversation?
Not only played 6 games.
And number one pick?
He went out of high school.
We claiming him. Yeah, you can put him in there.
Yeah.
You
gotta put him in that shit.
I got Mike Trubisky in the top 10. The top 10. I got Mike Trubisky in the top 10.
Danny Ferry though was
Danny did work.
Danny.
Late say something, man. Late, that dude, man. He was so competitive, man.
Mm-hmm.
And
He was a dog.
Man, he was a dog.
He was a fucking
He was a
dog.
dog.
He was a dog,
I
man.
give you a story, man. Zoe hurt his foot before we played y'all that day.
At the Cap Center? The ACC
He hurt his
Biggie
foot in
Challenge?
practice.
ACC Biggie Challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
so
know
he
that.
was covering it up. He was like, man, nah, gotta get back at him.
From Zoe's freshman year.
From with Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe went back at him, had 22 and 20, man.
Against Duke.
Yeah.
22 and 20.
in the capsule.
And then shut it down after that. He was
Nah,
hurt all
that
year.
was tough.
I think Jay Williams, it's sad with him because
Yeah, how it ended. Yeah.
obviously, but like the league was changing. Like it was becoming a point guard league.
Mm-hmm.
You look at it now, point guards dominate.
Man,
he got hurt.
you talk about that. I say
three.
you can't be average at that position now.
Not anymore.
These motherfuckers is balling.
That's what I want to ask
These
you right
and they
now.
athletic.
That's what I want to ask you
See,
right
it
now.
wasn't like that in the 90s.
No, it was.
And think about Jay Will got
It
hurt
was just
02,
you had to just bring that bitch up and
pass
pass that bitch and get out the way.
That's it.
Now you got to do some special shit
Yeah.
at that position to be a bad boy.
But then when you got height with it, then it's just
It's another
just an
story. You know what I'm
advantage.
saying, but you got to be
I mean,
that
you one of
good.
the true point forwards. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
But
But it was
what?
I mean, like literally.
You averaging 29 and 7. Like no dude. It's only been a few dudes doing that. Oscar, Larry
Right.
Bird. Then your man just came up and obviously triple double.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you something
Westbrook,
right now,
Westbrook,
man.
he's
I'm just saying, like
I'm telling you
29
what,
and 7.
Coach
That's
K,
crazy.
Coach K trying to bring in a Grant Hill every year. He got Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
Quite sure you had conversations.
Tatum.
Tatum.
Tatum's nice. Tatum's nice.
Tatum.
The kids now, man. We got
That's
the
a
Bagley
mob.
kid.
That's a
Bagley. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Bagley.
that's
we're gonna be a
crazy.
problem this year.
Yeah.
But Duke this year, like, I didn't see
Trayvon
it happen
Duval.
last year. There was a
This
lot of
shit some
expectations.
other shit.
But this year, with the point guard,
Duval.
Grayson's playing
This some
well,
other shit.
big guy. Like,
Yeah, they real good.
if
They special.
if they play for
No,
each
they're
other,
special. They're
Yeah.
very, very, very
oh,
special.
they can win.
Yeah, they're gonna win.
They
I
can
hate
win.
to say it.
I'm telling you, they
I
gonna
love
win.
you, Wildcats.
They might not
I
lose
love
a
you,
game.
Villanova.
Jay Wright.
Yeah,
That's my man right there.
Hey, it's,
Jay Wright.
it's tough.
Jay Wright.
It's tough, bro.
Jay Wright out of Villanova.
It's,
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I
that was a
was
good game.
heartbroken
Yeah,
when they
it's
beat Georgetown, man. 85.
Oh yeah, man.
I was in Lex. I was crying.
Villanova joint.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I was at
You
the
was
game.
at that
I was at the
game?
game. I was crying.
Oh man.
Like literally, man. I was so heartbroken, man.
Right.
sometimes we got a little. We play like if you had to compare yourself to a football player.
Oh, we do that.
Like we compare yourself to a football player. You know who I would compare you to right now? I would compare you to like a Terrell Davis. The reason why I say that,
Yeah, I get that.
and the reason why I say that, it comes up talking about the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Have you ever even thought about that? Consider that I think you come up next year, 19-year career.
Man, Hall of Fame legit. That shit stand.
They gotta be in the
Me
We
personally,
going to the bank with that
and no
one.
disrespect to nobody.
Man, I ain't going to the bank.
Well, here-
I don't know if it's
Here's the
first
thing.
ballot. I think that you're a Hall of Famer.
So
I think you're a Hall
I
of Famer.
appreciate that. I appreciate
really
it.
truly
So-
think you're a Hall of Famer.
If
If
Trace
I go
was
in,
great,
y'all,
Trace
I
was
got
great
everybody's
Hall of
fault,
Fame.
y'all.
But and again, no disrespect to your ex-teammate.
Right.
If we had debated this, we had a very vicious debate about Tracy, and no disrespect, Tracy was very good. I don't think he was first ballot, but he lucked up in his year.
Right.
Have you ever thought about that? I mean, because I think you're a Hall of Famer.
Look, I think T Mac. I mean, I love T Mac, and it's funny. Like now, we talked at the finals a couple years ago about like what could have been.
That was crazy.
Because he was so young and so talented, and I was hurt, and it was just like, man, we were just like, and it was sort of this mutual admiration for one another.
Right,
but
right.
you know what's funny, man? When I was in Detroit, I mean, you get a little bit self-absorbed when you kind of on that level. So you thinking about your legacy. I'm looking at Isaiah's numbers, like I'm gonna catch, like you just thinking about all that.
Right.
And then I got hurt, and I came back, and I kind of like, like just coming back, like to me that was enough.
Yeah.
But then now, as I'm like getting close, and like T-Mac went in, and you know, people say things. I mean, you know, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame; it's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
All right.
And
Right.
you know, my 4 years in Duke, and then the 6 years when I was right in Detroit. I mean, that's the 10 years from 90 to 2000.
10 years of great work.
That was good. I mean, like I said,
Incredible
so
work, bro.
So I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it, you know, if it doesn't, it doesn't.
gotta happen.
Nah, it will.
You know,
man.
No, I believe it. I believe it will. You got a good, good little crew that's gonna come up. Chris and them. Chris didn't get in.
Webb should. I mean, I think
Chris
Webb
Chris
should
going.
get in.
I mean, Chris
Webb
is
will
going to
get
get
in.
in. He's going to get in.
He'll get in.
Webb ain't OG Hill.
But
though.
that's
No way.
but
we
that's-
didn't get it fucked up.
Nah, man.
that's the shit I'm
Not because
saying.
he on the
That's-
show.
but that's-
I'm just
that's
saying in
what
general.
That's what I'm saying.
That's how I look at that shit.
Webb was, man. Look,
Yeah,
Webb
Webb a beast now. Webb a
when he
beast.
was in SAC.
But that through the legs you had, though, dude, people couldn't stay in front of you. When y'all
He
used
was-
to yank
so-
it, when y'all used to yank it before they start trying to change the look, you and AI had the craziest crossover.
Nah, man.
Let me tell you a funny story. So
Yeah, it
when
was
I was in
crazy.
Phoenix, one of the now they got all these trainers and all that.
Yeah.
And so Goran Dragic, who's now in Miami,
Yeah.
so he's working out with one of the coaches, and he's like, "All right, go do the Grand Hill." And so I'm like, I'm watching him work out,
Oh,
and,
the
I'm
stop.
thinking- and so it's like. It's
cross
go
through the
through
legs.
your legs first.
Yeah,
and then make the little
and
hesitation.
cross, and
And so
swim.
I didn't even know that was like a
It was a move.
How you not?
Because you used to
But
do
it
a
was-
full speed
It was natural.
off the
though.
dribble
It
and
was natural.
swim.
It was natural.
It was
I
so.
was trying to be like him.
It was
man.
succinct.
I was trying-
That was great. And look,
It was natural.
I just like how this
It
like.
was natural.
You kind of like Mike was to North Carolina. And no disrespect to Duke and Coach K. Like, you were held back, man.
No.
Like, you played
No, he
4 years.
wasn't held back.
Not really held
No, but
back.
here's the thing.
He wasn't
You
held
showed
back.
off the league, though.
Let me
You showed off,
Let
though.
me tell you, and I don't think I really
Man.
told
I ain't
you
gonna say
this.
he was held
Man,
back,
Let me
but
tell you something.
That's the wrong
I
word.
couldn't
Hey,
shoot.
man, it's
I
one of
could
the
not.
greatest
I didn't have
players ever.
confidence in my shot. Now I could get by people, but in college,
Dunk on people.
my shot wasn't there. And when I got to the league, I had
It's
30
senior
triple
year
doubles.
shot.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But my triple
Yeah.
doubles were my second and third year in the league. All of them. I had 30 in 2 years.
Damn.
And so part of that, I'd say half of those games where I had triple doubles, I came out and probably missed my first 3-4 shots. And so instantly I go default mode to
Diamond. Just straight
and so
diamond.
because the ball was in my hands, because I could take 20 shots, because I was athletic, because I could play, I could fall into 20 points.
Easy.
And so a lot of those triple doubles really came from not having confidence in my game. Once I got the shot down, like around 98, 99, and I felt, because what I did was I studied MJ and I said, okay, forget about the 3-point shot, because that wasn't really big. That wasn't like it is now.
Mid-range,
His area of domination was the post in mid-range,
Mid-range,
10 to 15 feet.
Mid-range.
So once, and I could get to 10 to 15, but I just had to get confident hitting that. So once I got there, like my last year in Detroit, now it was like, oh, now I got more weapons. So now I'm like, get to the line, get to the basket, get to the mid-range, transition, post up. So I would break it down like areas of domination. And so now I'm averaging 27, 28, 29. And the problem I had is like a curveball pitcher all of a sudden learning how to throw a fastball. And now it's like learn how to mix and match.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you got a new weapon, you want to fall in love with that.
Yeah.
But I got to a good place and then I got hurt. And then after that it was, it wasn't what
I
it
know
was.
he's going. You got Saturday night. You got a Sunday game on ABC against Duke. It was like 30 minutes on the. They give you this little sheet. 30 minutes, Grant Hill.
Yeah, he's watching that.
So like, shit, I ain't gotta check this motherfucker.
Hey,
Y'all gotta check this motherfucker. But we gotta learn everything he's doing just in case it's a switch, man.
Lucas, right? Lucas used to guard me.
Yeah, man. And Lucas used to be scared. Look, Lucas used to show up at the gym before the damn parking people got there.
Lucas.
He missed breakfast and everything. I said, man, we all right, man. What are you doing? He was like, oh, he ain't walking around eating granola bars. He a big time actor now, man.
Yeah, he's acting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
We used to be like, what are you doing, man? I was like, what's wrong with you, man? He was like, I need some insight on Grant, man. I was like, we can't get nothing, man. We saw it on the tape. So this guy just going, man.
Hey, Kurt, talk.
But he still ain't give me his other two from Duke, though. I ain't gonna let him get away with this.
I threw out Jay Will, but
Yeah, you still ain't give me number two, though, G Hill.
So we got JDU.
You know,
Late
I
night.
think Kyrie might be when it's all said and done.
Yeah,
the
that's
greatest Duke player that have come through.
Oh, okay.
Because he's in the league, or because he did at Duke? What he
did
Nah,
at Duke
man,
was crazy too.
I
I
He's a bad boy though.
No, he's a bad boy.
We say the same thing, Bo.
I
say
do.
the same thing.
Look what Charlie did.
That dude is crazy.
Charlie didn't switch.
Oh, he's. You dunking him up.
I ain't swear. Who said that?
No, he's showing it. He's showing the highlight. Bro.
He didn't switch. Look.
Nah.
You supposed to switch. You supposed to.
Yeah, I got caught up in the game.
He didn't switch. Look, that's Charlie right there.
And once he dunked the joint, though.
Yeah.
Once he dunked the joint.
You dunked the wreck, nigga. You dunked.
I told him, man, I'm going under. I told him I was going under. I told Scooter Banks I'm going under, man. God damn. I
remember you always talk about the first time you saw him play.
Oh man, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a
double pump action.
real
Ashman
motherfucker.
won that game though.
That's right, Charlie Measy. Tommy. Call him Tommy.
I told Chris Collins, you
Gotta call him
you got a
Tommy.
problem.
Gotta call him Tommy now. Gotta call him Tommy. That's crazy.
Yeah, big shout out to the Cable family too,
Yeah,
man.
Big shout out, man.
Rest in peace,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, Big Kate, the man that started with them kids, man.
Yeah.
Did a great job with them. What they doing right now?
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? That's tough.
Well,
Big loss.
How was that UNLV thing, man? Because you played my era, so
that was tough.
2 out of my 4 years, y'all won the chip back to back. So you go to the Final Four, y'all lose.
I was in high school.
No.
So,
He was
so
a
you weren't even
freshman.
you come in as a freshman. So you come in.
They won. They beat them.
Yeah.
So how was that? The prep for that, knowing the year before,
Right.
lost by what, 30?
So you got to understand, UNLV that year they were undefeated, kind of like Kentucky was
That year, yeah.
Right.
So they were undefeated, and so we had a whole week to prepare, and I think that helped us.
Yeah.
And so we did watch the tape a couple of times, but I remember because UNLV was where they were so good was they were so good on defense, and they played that amoeba zone defense.
Amoeba.
And so I remember in practice,
defense.
but the year before they pressed a little bit more, but they played more than amoeba defense. We would play against 7. So coach had us in practice 5 against 7.
I got you.
And so it was crazy.
Yeah.
And so we got in the game, we could deal with it. Now I think also I'm not trying to pat my own back, but the year before you had Phil Henderson, who was a great player at Duke.
Great athlete, too.
Yeah. They weren't ball handlers. Like Phil didn't want to dribble, Brick couldn't dribble. Now I'm playing power forward. I'm a ball handler. So it took a little bit of a load off Bobby. So Bobby didn't have to
That pressure.
That pressure. And so, but yeah, we just wanted to keep it close, and we figured they've been
All
blowing.
went on you.
Stacy,
Stacy
guarded me.
yeah.
I guarded Stacy, and that was. I mean, they used to think that they could be pros. Like that's how good they were.
Right.
We played them in that Sweet 16 that year, and I was like, damn.
I'm still thinking about how you went upstairs and caught it with your elbow.
Nah, I caught that joint, dunked that motherfucker.
With the man hair.
The man from Bladensburg.
Those bowl cuts.
What's my man name?
Brian Davis.
Yeah.
And then my
Shout
man
to
Thomas
Bladensburg.
Hill. I played with Thomas Hill in the USBO. Athletic is a motherfucker. Yeah, he was very athletic. Very athletic. I knew this dude was athletic. We in the Boston shit out practice. We at Boston. This was crazy.
Jay Bias was on that team.
Yep.
Jay,
This motherfucker, we on 3-man weave, 2-on-1 getting back.
Yeah.
2-on-1, you 3-on-1, you just throw the ball up. This motherfucker took one dribble, about like the freaking line motherfucker, and just boom. I said, what the fuck? This kid just don't I'm looking at Aaron Long. I'm like, man, what the fuck? We ain't losing.
we lost the ball.
Yeah, we lost to the Boston
3
team.
years in a row.
To your boy, Lord Mamas and them. They trip ball. I say, no way we losing to them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Them the ref was fucking up.
Cheese was the ref. No, Cheese was the ref.
I know, yeah. That was crazy, man. I seen this motherfucker, yo, we in a drill. This motherfucker get this bitch on, took one dribble and just did like this. I say, oh my motherfucking God, this motherfucker is the goods. I couldn't believe that shit, yo.
I told my father, I was like, oh man, we ain't losing the game all this stuff. So we got me, him and Randolph, man, and we had
deal.
nice families around us, man. I said, we're not losing the game. I said, they got us in camp.
Yeah.
Hey, we would go
in boot camp. Y'all said y'all was in boot camp with some shit.
all day.
Training camp.
All day.
2 a day.
Man, hey, I'm telling you, we were probably the best coach.
Yeah.
Hey, like, man, we had plays for everything.
So many fundamentals.
Man, it was crazy, man.
And they don't have that shit now. That's
Then they'll be
crazy.
like, just go destroy him.
That's crazy.
They call you the side, like,
I gotta
go
put
out.
my man on the map today. Like, let's talk about LeBron. What you think about LeBron James?
Yeah. You know, I think it's funny with LeBron. Like, you know, when I was still playing, it's hard to, like, you respect everybody. Mm-hmm. But when you're 38 and you're going against a young LeBron,
right,
you almost have to be like, you know, man, like you know, you got to have a certain mentality. You know what I'm saying? And so not until I retired and get a chance, like, to watch him in person, what's impressive to me is his intellect. Like, his he does things that most people take for granted, and like passes or plays that unless you're there, like, on the floor and you watch and you really key in on him, you get an appreciation.
His cuts, his cut to the basket.
But like his ability to think the game, like, that's his athleticism, his size, his skill, all that is great. But like,
it is what it is. It's knowledge of the game.
His understanding of the game
is crazy.
Is off the charts.
It's really crazy.
You know, I mean, I think he's figured out too. I thought early on his instincts were to facilitate, and I think he's figured out that balance of when to, like, score,
right, when
to pass, and it's sort of like I played with Nash in Phoenix, and Nash didn't want to shoot, but Nash was a great shooter.
Right.
Sometimes the best thing for him was to be aggressive offensively, so we'd have to encourage him, like, hey man, for us to win, you're gonna have to shoot,
right? Yeah,
and so. I get it. I know when I was a point forward, it's always that balance of, like, okay, my passing and my, LeBron's figured it out. And he's at what he's doing this year, 15 years in the league or however long he's played,
different level.
all those minutes that he's played, and his team is not as good, and they're not playing as well. But, like, he came here to DC and played the Wizards and just
he put them like that was boys club. He like the boys club kids right there.
Yeah,
like he was like the big Shaq when you 12 years old and just a big motherfucker on your team.
Right,
just dominate. He dominated that game.
Like, the game slows down.
That's it.
And he sees everything that's going on.
Oh, the game is crazy.
He's playing 38, 39 minutes a game, man.
He's played.
Or year 15.
And here's what's impressive,
or
too.
year 15.
He's never been
no injuries.
It's surgery.
And that's crazy.
Think about Kobe, T-Mac.
Yeah.
Yourself.
Penny, all guys that were like that kind of, and he's too sick. Like, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And he's never had surgery. So his longevity, even Mike had issues. And so he's impressive, man. He's
Well, how's it feel to be on the ownership side now?
yeah, no, that's fun, man. It's
Bad.
It's fun. No, it's we are going through a rebuilding process in Atlanta, but you get an appreciation for just sort of all the moving parts that occur with running a team and an organization. And it's like a dream, man. Like, I mean, for me to be on that side and to add value as an owner who played, and to be in Atlanta.
You always had Atlanta ties, though. From when I know you from AAU.
Not for always the best reasons, but
yeah. You had little ties down there.
Yeah, no, I mean, Atlanta reminds me of DC. Like, back, not so much now, but it is chocolate city in a lot of ways. And if you are of color and you have your stuff together, you can really thrive in Atlanta. And it's probably I know too much about Atlanta, but it's a major cosmopolitan city in the southeast,
right?
And it's just a good quality of life, and a lot of fun things to do, clubs, nightlife.
What made you decide to become an entrepreneur in that area?
I think I always, when I was playing and I was making money, and then I'm thinking, man, this man is paying.
Right. So he got a whole lot of money.
Yeah, so
Let me understand.
Bill Davidson, who was the late owner of Detroit, he kind of, I got close with him and sort of understood what he was about. And at that point, it was like, wow, at some point, I'd like to be in that position.
Yeah.
I'd like to participate on the ownership level.
Yeah.
And not sure if, how it would happen or if it would ever happen. And so, the Hawks, it presented itself, and it was a franchise that had struggled a little bit in the past, and so it was it was an opportunity for us as owners to come in and add some value.
Yeah.
And so we've renovated the arena. We built a $50 million new practice facility.
Is Danny Ferrier there?
He was, and he's no longer there.
Okay, he was. I know he was there for a minute.
And so yeah, I mean, it's been great. It's been a lot, but it's hard. You know what it is. So I do television as well. And television, you coach the game, you analyze, you explain to the viewer what's happening.
Yeah.
But you don't really care about who wins.
Yeah.
And and so some people like that.
Yeah.
But we as athletes, we're accustomed to feeling the wins and the losses, the ups and the downs.
Right.
And so one of the things I enjoy on the ownership side is like, when we win, you feel good. When you lose,
you got both sides.
You got skin in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so now
good.
we're losing a little too much this year, but we're kind of going through a rebuilding process. But it's good. I enjoy it, man. It's like a dream come true. We got great partners, and
That's good,
I didn't get that ring in the league as a player, but hopefully one day
You'll get
we'll
this
get
as
one
an
as an owner.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's crazy. We got.
I got to get some sizes, man. I got to send y'all some. Some
Oh, man.
I know we in DC. I know y'all Bullets fans.
Hey, we gonna
I'm a LeBron guy.
No, okay. I'm gonna send y'all. We got some nice stuff, man.
I'm a LeBron guy. I'm a free agent. I'm a free agent. I'm a free agent. You know what I'm saying? We
had a conversation too, and I always like to ask our guests, who would you kind of compare yourself to?
Bryson comparison. That's what I'm about to say. What's the Bryson? This is
Modern day right now.
comparison.
Because I have my, we actually hit the head for who we think, and you might not think that. I'm gonna tell you after you think of who you say.
I guess it's arrogant to compare yourself to probably the best player.
That shit ain't arrogant, man.
But I like the Ben Simmons kid.
Damn!
How about
Shout out to Mike Sumner. Shout out to Mike Sumner.
Shout out to
Love Simmons.
That's what
Yeah.
it said. That's what it got.
he's good.
He's got. He's young, but what he's doing and how he can really handle the ball.
Yeah, he bad boy.
Like, I know people are gonna kill me for saying this, but I never felt like I'm not criticizing LeBron, so I got to qualify that.
I'm right here. You
No
better
disrespect.
qualify that.
I don't know.
Well, I'm right.
I don't
You better.
know if he's got it like that on the string. Mm-hmm. I never looked at him as a great ball handler in that sense. He can handle the ball, but Simmons can handle it.
Simmons got point guard.
He's got you put a
Simmons
guard
know
on
where
him,
to go, where he
and
going.
he's gonna dance with it.
So you going with Simmons or LeBron?
I'm gonna go with those guys. Yeah.
No, you got to pick one of
Oh, I
them.
gotta pick one. Well then,
LeBron.
I'm gonna go with LeBron.
Yeah.
Hey.
Simmons is
But
still
what's
young.
crazy is, look, I compare you with so crazy. Usually we always got it off. That's who we said.
You
Ben
know what?
Simmons.
You know I
That's you.
compare.
Ben Simmons is the new you.
Yeah, we didn't talk about all that.
We already talking.
You
Ben
know I
Simmons is the
compare
new
with
you.
your demeanor though. He don't play like you, but he went to Duke. It's Tatum.
Look, Tatum.
He has a
Tatum's, you know what?
he has an old soul, man.
He does.
And it's like he lets the game come to him.
Right.
He left after his freshman year. That's what I was saying.
I love Tatum. You know, I'm a Tatum.
Tatum
I'm a
bad
Duke
boy.
fan for
Yeah,
one.
Tatum bad
Love
boy.
Tatum.
Old soul, man.
I think
So
Tatum.
I think he's gonna be really good.
He's definitely compared to you as far as what I watch. But I think the difference between y'all two, he plays a little too high
He plays really
with
good.
his game. You know what I'm saying? It's not he can't bring the ball up with pressure.
Nah, he's not great.
You know what I'm saying?
He's more
more of a 4-3.
To me, he's more like
Paul
Pierce.
Pierce type. See what I'm saying?
He's got great footwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I watched a lot of him, as I'm sure you did last year.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I've seen a kid like that skilled, like with his footwork.
He knows
step
shit.
backs,
No, he knows
all
shit.
that. And
He
Pierce
knows
was
shit.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I used to play against. I used to guard Pierce, and I'm like, man, he's not that athletic. You know, he's not. He's not like.
Scores know how to score.
But he gets to
But
his spot.
he know how to his
crazy, though.
footwork, his
Footwork is
inside
stupid.
reverse, and like all
Boy,
that.
this shit was
his
crazy.
deliberate ball fake. And
I'm still pissed off because, at the time, I used to like Philly. I was living in Philly, obviously going to Villanova. But goddamn, the fifth pick, they take Larry Hughes. And I'm like, fucking, he's on the board. He went 10th. And he was cooking. Pierce was cooking at Kansas. So I always thought about that draft.
But you
was
raised
like,
over Pierce?
The Sixers had the pick. Sixers had the fifth pick. They could have had AI and Pierce together. They took Larry Hughes, freshman out of St. Louis.
But they still had Stackhouse there.
Yeah,
This freshman year.
Stack was with me in Detroit.
Yeah.
Because Stack is up this year, as far as the Hall of Fame. Stack is up, Rashid is up, you going to be up.
D-League, he got coach of the year in the D-League.
He was coaching up in Toronto's D-League.
Yeah. Then we the last question we were in the show.
Okay.
What's up with you and Kobe Bryant matchups? How you look at Kobe?
Kobe. So my matchups at the end of my career were bad. Because I'm guarding, you know what I'm saying? And
so we Phoenix, the Clippers.
Oh man! Yeah. So I'm like, here I am, 38, with one bad ankle,
right?
And they got me guarding. But I enjoyed that challenge. Kobe. So early on in my career, I was in Detroit, and we weren't matched up a lot. But I had some real good games against the Lakers back in Detroit. Later on, when we were in Phoenix, I was in a different role, and Kobe was the hardest guy to guard. The hardest guy to guard. I mean, just first of all, mentally, like nothing threw him off.
Right.
And then, certain guys, they have team plan was, don't let him go right and get to the rim. Keep him out the paint.
Because he's too strong. He's
too strong. And don't let him get a full head of steam coming down the court.
And you backpedal.
So we shoot the ball on offense. Make sure I know where he is.
Right.
Don't crash the glass. Just kind of like find out where LeBron is. Mm-hmm. Make him make and take contested twos. So I kept him going to his left because he really didn't want to get to the hole going to his left.
Right.
Didn't mean I stopped him. But you kind of had an idea. Yeah. Kobe, he can go right, he can go left, he can go over the right shoulder, left shoulder. Mm-hmm. And so you always had to throw different looks at it. And sometimes he go shoot it. You just smack his hand, just to let him know you there.
Right.
But he was hard, man. He was a hard guy to guard. And then, like I said, I couldn't go back at him on the other. Like part of it was sometimes when I was young, I say the best defense is good offense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna make you guard me.
So was that one of the moments with at the end of your career and you guarding them guys like Kobe and LeBron in your mind were you wishing like, damn, I wish I could have seen these dudes, man, when I was on my shit. Because they couldn't fuck with you.
So here's the thing, though. I mean, I don't, like the Detroit years, when I was playing, I didn't remember that. Because you got to understand, man, when I got hurt, all you thinking about is like, I got to get back. 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 Mm-hmm. And what I should have done, I should have watched more tape of when I was in Detroit to remind myself of what I could do.
Right.
So by the time I got there, I didn't even see myself as that player before.
Right.
So my kids would go on YouTube, and when they were little, they'd go on there and like, Dad, man, you weren't a scrub back in the day. You were actually all right. And so now
you got a little boy and a little girl.
I got two girls, man. Two girls.
I got 3 girls.
You got 3 girls?
Yeah.
So, but now the Kobe was, I admired his mental toughness, his focus. You just had to. It was every possession. Mm-hmm. Every possession was like a battle.
He's special.
And he was special, man. He was great. He was great.
Right.
I can say that now because
Right.
We looking forward to you in that Hall of Fame, man.
Well, if it happens,
man. Oh no, it's going out.
Make sure y'all there, man.
It's going out.
We're going Red Cup hour up in Springfield, baby. Springfield.
My man, we gonna end the show tonight, man. Appreciate you, champ, for coming through. You know what I'm saying, supporting the cup, man. And it was an honor to have you on tonight, man, and to share them stories with us, man. And just getting the DMV. That's our purpose of the show, man. The DMV. You know what I'm saying? Just to tell some stories that people don't even know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got Grant Hill on tonight. They like, oh shit, how the fuck y'all? And not only that, we on a Thursday night. Like, oh, we going Thursday. You know what I'm saying? My thing and our the panel, we can't let Grant Hill get out of town and not come on the show. Right. You know what I'm saying? And when you gave me your word, man, that was respect. You know what I'm saying? I definitely appreciate that, man. We can close the show, man, and
I appreciate
great
y'all.
one.
That's what I appreciate y'all, and the reason I'm here because, people don't know. Like there's a sense of pride coming from around here, and
right?
Playing ball, and particularly I don't necessarily know the landscape as well now, but one of us do well, we all do. And when you went off, in the McDonald's Capital Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all felt that pride. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a sense of pride, and so
my point guard.
Yeah, no question. So it's
like let's run it.
Yeah, so
let's run it.
It's I still think.
Shout out to Kenny Anderson.
I told Kurt though. I think there's got to be. See what we're doing when you have guys on here. Like if you don't tell these stories get lost.
Exactly.
And so I love what you guys are doing, and I'm a fan of it. But there's got to be like a documentary or something. Like even if it's just like I don't know, something like that period of time.
Stay tuned.
That period of time, I'm telling you, man, like in the late 80s, high school basketball in D.C., you know, it was real. Fans would go to games. I don't care if it was in the city. It was sold out. And it was just, I know. In my McDonald's game on the DC team, how many pros we had? We had 5, 6 pros.
Yeah.
Like guys that played in the league. Like,
the all Met teams, the 88, the 89 and 90, to me, was 89 and 90 was the best all Met team.
It was a crazy time, man. And so I feel like.
And 88 with Walton Gerard now. Yeah. And then we carried over to the 89 mob. Then you go 89 and 90.
I don't know if it's like that now.
Right. Nah.
But back then, like I feel like I don't know. I feel like we gotta tell do a doc, do
Kids
something.
Kids don't understand.
Then it's Scott.
Yeah, no, 3D.
3D. 87.
3D.
Man, shout out to my man,
George Lynch and them guys.
George Lynch, man.
Children's played there. Randolph was there for 1 year.
We had Lawrence Moulton.
Sam.
And Diggy
All them Carroll guys got different names, man. Lawrence, Sam. Y'all from Carroll, man. Y'all had
that's we had to go uptown.
That's a whole nother story. I'll tell you about that on the show. That's a whole nother story.
A lot of shit going on back then, man. I had to make sure I made it in school safe, man. A lot of shit was different then.
Hey,
we put up 30, they were like, okay, that's Charlie Harris.
That's Tommy. That's Tommy.
No, they say Charlie. Most of them like, that's Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy Smalls, man.
If I'm gonna name him Clay, I'm gonna call him Clay.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna close out tonight, man. Thanks for everybody watching, man. Definitely appreciate G Hill for coming through. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep it going, man. You know, and
great show, man.
we just building up a nice program we'll be doing, man, just to get guys, man, the Grant Hills, the Walt Williams, you know what I'm saying, Lawrence Moses, Donald Hodge, Charles Smith, John Turner, Michael Graham, Victor Page, Sherman Douglas, man, you just name it, and they here on the show, man. So definitely appreciate all the guys, man. Everybody watching, man. And watching, man.
Smith,
yeah.
Man, we need a documentary on you, man.
We got
the trouble man.
Hey, we got it going on, man. It's a lot of stuff we're gonna do, man, and appreciate you, homie. Coming too, man. My man.
On y'all, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Red Cup, we out, baby.